going to be doing call and response, and then Jack will do the talk, which will, I hope, raise you in consciousness. And if you would like to have a name called out when we do the prayer list, all you have to do is put their name on a piece of paper into the prayer box, and I will collect it while Jack is speaking so it gets on the list. It'll be prayed over for a month here, and then it'll go to Unity Village, Silent Unity, for another month. We're so blessed to be able to have a facility like this, to be able to come and meditate. That is the food of life. This is something that we should do every day, only because it fills us with all understanding. We'll see words come out of our mouth we never even thought we would say in speaking. It's just miraculous when you take that time to get the food that you know not of, which is meditation, connecting to the Creator, the great mystery, whatever you call God. It's all great. Do it in the name of love. So we'll do a call and response. Oh, my beloved, kindness of the heart, breath of life, I bow to you. Oh, my beloved, kindness of the heart, breath of life, I bow to you. Oh, my beloved, kindness of the heart, breath of life, I bow to you. Oh, my beloved, kindness of the heart, breath of life, I bow to you. And I'm coming home, 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 coming home to the light within. Coming home the light within. Coming home to you. 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 Breath of life, I bow 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 to you. Coming home 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 to the light within. 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 Breath of life, I bow to you. Breath of life, I bow to you. Breath of life, I bow coming home to you. 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 Coming home to you.
We are all in this together. No one has a higher self. The higher self has us. Until we, through life's teaching, realize I don't know, we will not be able to realize that this divine one does. Only when one gets to the place through life's experience where one realizes I don't know, he or she will not realize that this one does know. Just try to realize that. Start with, I don't know. And if there is only one that does know, what then are we involved in doing? When we talk about achieving or attaining enlightenment, it has an inference that at some place in our process, I will know. When I achieve enlightenment, I will know. But that is impossible. No one will ever know except that this one does. So the only approach to happiness, truth, peace of mind, is to recognize that shift, that in one's personal awareness, he or she does not know. But in that personal awareness, we are attempting to know. We are striving to know. We are wanting to know. And at some place in the process of wanting to know and striving to know, we will get to a place where we recognize, I don't know. The assumption is that I could ultimately get to a place where I will know, but you can't. You can't get there. But you can be happy. You can find divine love and peace. You can begin to see the beauty and the magnificence of all life. But you can't do it by sustaining that illusionary drive that we were born and raised in the world. The illusionary drive that implies that we can figure it out, that we should be able to figure it out. With enough study and enough teaching, enough learning, enough living, one can figure it out and then learn to live, or from there on, live effectively. But there will always be the attempt to figure it out when you're not happy and you're not at peace and you're watching so much suffering and you have no way of knowing how to be free. You will still be trying to figure it out until you realize, I can't. I've done this a long time and it hasn't happened. So you can't attain it. This is where the great teachers and the masters talk about the ultimate humility, the breaking of the illusion of the ego-centered idea of self and its quest to know and to control and to arrive and to be and attain. It reaches that place and realizes after how long, it's a matter of personalities, realizes after that, I don't know, and I can't really know. It can't be attained. But if you don't take anything else out of this service tonight with you, take this. I can't know, I don't know, I can't attain it, but I can surrender to it. It is all. It is God. Not separate and distant or apart from any of us. It is God being what God is forever deciding to be. So, if you haven't been able to touch that in your spiritual practice, try to imagine what it will be like when you know that you can't know, but you're willing to be present. And then the past, with all of its limited thinking and ideas and concerns and worries and fears and suffering, is meaningless. For in the personality state, in the false definition of self, the supposition that I've learned from the things of the past, so I'll know how to deal with what approaches me in this present future. But it's a ruse. All that you've learned in the past has only been leading you to realize you have no idea what the circumstances will bring in any present moment. You have no idea whatsoever what the circumstances will conspire to bring in any given moment. And if that's true, what has all this stuff that you've been collecting from the past going to do for you? The universe isn't mean. The universe is true. The universe is one grand, evolving intelligence through each of us in its own way. And we can finally let go of the past and the concerns of the past and all the imagined fears of the future, because they're meaningless. The only thing that has meaning is arriving at a place where you realize, I don't know. Do you see how that truth removes us from all the judgment and condemnation of the world? That truth, I don't know. Because whenever there's a judgment on anyone, or a condemnation about anybody or anything or any set of circumstances, there's the assumption that I know. There's the assumption that I'm an objective observer of life and I can decide what is right, wrong, needed, necessary, missing, must be fulfilled, da-da, 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 on and on and on until your hair gets grayer and the wrinkles come on, and all of this that you thought you could finally get done isn't going to get done fully. And did you think there was no body here before you arrived? So here we are, and I said we're all in this together. Can you imagine that all we have attempted to do to gain the freedom to be okay with ourselves, all the psychotherapy and all the self-help books and all the complaining and all the pursuing of whatever it is we are pursuing that's going to change the aspects of our life, all of that, there's nothing wrong with pursuing that, but pursue it with a preference and give the priority to being awake in the moment. So yes, continue to pursue, but don't pursue it with the idea that somehow or other it's going to finally fulfill your life. What's going to fulfill your life is to get to that place where you don't know and you say, okay, and I'm willing to surrender. There goes your judgment. There goes your, wow, we all thought we were so smart. We were born and told from the very beginning, you got to get smart. You got to go to school. You got to get an education. You got to become brighter, quicker, swifter, faster, better, bigger, richer. For what? It's true, and this bothers some people when you say it. You have everything you need right now to be absolutely happy. And that most of the suffering that people experience is self-imposed. It's self-imposed. People say things like, I should have known better, or he should have known better, or they should have known better. How can that be? Nobody knows. How could they know better? So they're just moving along. They're moving along in relationship to this divine intelligence that we refer to as God. And the only way to know that intelligence and the majesty and the peace of that which goes with that intelligence is to know that it knows. I don't. So you see how we have, being born in the conditions and circumstances as we have, it's all an incredible process of desensitizing us to being present, to being right here in the okayness of it all, and having peace with it as it is, having peace with myself as I am, having peace with others as they are, just being here in this present moment, which is the only reality, accepting the intelligence that knows and letting it figure all that stuff out that I thought I had to figure out. It'll work it all out. It has its own game plan, its own purpose through each of us and all of us. So I came here to tell you that all this tonight, because when we take the offering, I want you to put all your money in it. Then I'm going to buy a really flashy new car. Just about every page in the Course in Miracles relates this truth. I think this is a good one. This is on the Old Text, page 533. In quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quietly resolved. In conflict there can be no answer and no resolution, for its purpose is to make no resolution possible, and to ensure no answer will be plain. A problem set in conflict has no answer, for it is seen in different ways, and what would be an answer from one point of view is not an answer in another light. You are in conflict, thus it must be clear you cannot answer anything at all. Conflict has no limited effects. Yet, if God gave an answer, there must be a way in which your problems are resolved. For what He wills already has been done. Therefore, God must have given you a way of reaching to another state of mind in which the answer is already there. Such is the holy instant. I'll read that last part again, especially if you're not used to the language of A Course in Miracles. Yet if God gave an answer, there must be a way in which your problems are resolved. For what He wills already has been done. Therefore, God must have given you a way of reaching to another state of mind in which the answer is already there. Such is the holy instant. It is here that all your problems are solved. So the Course in Miracles will speak in other places about the holy instant. It will say the holy instant is here and now, beyond the past and the future, where you will not find it. It exists in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. The holy instant is the transformation from the thinking of the world to the awareness of the presence of the Divine One in all, as all. It seems a fairly simple process to arrive in happiness. Because in that moment of the holy instant, everyone becomes okay, including this self. However I'm interpreting it at the moment, this self is perfectly okay, just as every other seeming separate self is okay. Of course, they're not separate because there is one mind, one power, one presence in all the universe. It is God. That's why meditation is a good practice. It gets us beyond the initial state of awareness in which we were conditioned to believe that we can know, and beyond that, even worse, that we should know. Can you see how this truth doesn't interfere with just about anything we're doing? It only interferes with the illusion of my special separateness. That's all it does. Otherwise, You continue your life, you're in the marketplace, you carry on. If this seems to you something you want to accomplish, seek it to the best of your ability. But only seek it with a preference. Don't seek it in the illusion that this is going to make my life work. I've got to get this. If this doesn't work out, I'm not going to be very happy. This has to go this way. I've set it up. It's going to have to go this way. Don't do things like that. Just pursue it with a preference. I prefer that it works out this way. If it doesn't, okay, I'm okay. Everybody else involved in it is still okay. I pursue it with a preference. I prefer to have it work out this way. I prefer to have it be this way. I prefer to have, these persons, see me in this light. I prefer that. I prefer this. Good. Prefer it, but don't make an inner demand of it, because there's no way to demand it. There's no place in the process of being human where an individual gains control over the universe. That's the supposition, that's the illusion, that's the conditioning, that's the entire education system. You should know, you'll figure it out. And then there's a very special one. Use your head. For what? To wear a hat. Okay, we're going to meditate together. This is so beautiful. Can you imagine? We'll meditate together and we'll all relax into being okay, just as we are. Then we'll have to find a way to carry that feeling with us. Because if we keep showing up in the world, wherever we're carrying on our lives, feeling okay, everything's going to be okay. But when we leave this sanctuary, if we go back to the idea of our special separateness, my illusionary ability to be an objective observer and to judge and decide, then we're going to be breaking the natural harmony of not wanting. The natural harmony of not wanting. I'm present, I'm preferring, but I'm not demanding. So we'll allow our Tibetan bowls and the energy that they bring forth to energize us, to move our chakras into harmony, to make us feel this is wonderfully okay to be sitting here, allowing. What? You shouldn't even be in the Western culture if you're allowing. You've got to move someplace. Go to Tibet if you're allowing. We don't do that here. We get our own way. We figure it out. We get control. So we're going to do what the world doesn't want, which is to allow ourselves to be present here, experiencing these beautiful moments with these Tibetan bowls. After that, we'll have a period of silence. If you have a particular meditation technique, then of course do that in that period of silence. If you don't have a particular meditation technique, you might want to just use this idea. Everything I look upon, everything I see, is only God looking back at me. Everything I look upon, everything I see, is only God looking back at me. us take a few minutes to release this divine awareness to all of those whose names have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, just feel the divine consciousness of the one in all entering that person's life and awareness. If you don't know the person whose name is called, just see the name filled with this divine light and love.
Alexander Chase, Sherry Jacobson, Melanie LaRocca Perez, Carly Ev Burt, Val and Mauve Bowles, Sandy Spahn, Erina, Kenny, Annie Rains, and Ivan, Dell and family, Nestor family, Dan James, Bill Eisner, Joan Martin, Mid Goki, Fraser family, David Wag, Melinda Niemczyk, Jeff Anderson, Gail Wagner, Donna Sparks, Bo Woods, Justin Garcia, Kate Beltrami, Sarah, Julia, Jean, Padma Sandus, John Martin, Robin Harris, Ruth, Carrie, Tux, Ryan, Josh Cullison, Liz Lozano, Suzanne Cortels, the Jordans, Helen Smith, Tim Quinn, Ryan, Sierra, Dolores Bale, John Stovall, Roxy Stovall, the Shondas family, Rich and Susan, Mark Freeland, Bessie, Jamie, Jimmy, Shad, Casey, Patricia, Linda, Deborah Littlefield, Mark Meredith, Gwendolyn, Tim, United States government, and Iran, the earth, the air, the water, all life on this planet, Nico and Kaya. If a name hasn't been called out and you would like to call it out loud, you can do so now.
D. Matthew, S. Casey, S. Daniel,
You see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people whose names that have been submitted throughout the month. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us envision this refined awareness of peace moving into the consciousness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And expanding into the awareness of everyone in the state of Colorado. And expanding to every person in these United States of America. And throughout the North American continent, to everyone on every continent of the world, coming into the awareness of the one benevolent presence calling us to total peace and acceptance, love, compassion, truth. And this awareness bringing harmony and healing to every creature on the planet. To all the waterways, there will be purification through the efforts of humanity. To all the forests and all the vegetation, all the minerals, all the land, all the earth, becoming blessed by the awareness that we are all one. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen.